Townsend leads things off. You see her speed, top of the order. It's what she does.
My Townsend just picked. For shortstop Avery Barton. But my Townsend's speed has just been phenomenal all weekend long. And now putting the first batter on base, NC State can create some havoc, put more pressure on the defense.
Yeah, it's exactly what they did yesterday in that game against Mercer, was just constant pressure on the base pass. They ended up leaving 12 runners on base, still won that game 8-0, but those first couple innings, bases loaded, they didn't push across the runs they probably would have hoped to, but it kind of broke open a little bit later in the game. But for a team that comes in like this, having played as well as they have, how do you kind of carry that mindset? What's the mindset, I guess, going into this final game, having won pretty comfortably yesterday, but you want to close out on a high note?
Exactly. You have to think about this as a 3-game series. I know they played more than 3 games this weekend, but going into ACC playing next weekend, you have to think about, as your pitchers have pitched a lot in these past couple games, and your hitters have had a lot of at-bats. You want to see your hitters continue to make adjustments, but you want to save the arms of your pitchers going into the rest of conference play. So if you're NC State, it's trying to put balls in play hard, early, and then just continue making them.
Avery Barton at the plate, the shortstop for Mercer. The senior out of Monticello, Georgia, leads the team in home runs and RBI as well. Began this season 4 home runs in her first 4 games. We talked about this team got off to a good start. It's slowed down a little bit as they get prepared for conference play, heading into SoCon in a couple weeks. Good pitch inside, evens the count at 2-2.
When Wingore is at her best, she is living at that 67, 68 mile per hour pitch, and you could really tell on that inside corner how hard that pitch came in. And on the inside corner, that makes it even tougher because batters have to catch it out in front. So when you're facing 68 miles per hour on the inside corner, it's a lot harder to hit than something on the outside.
That one fouled off. Wingore has been pitching really well. Also, she came in after a week where she had 2 wins, 2 complete games, no earned runs allowed, and 17 1/3. She had 9 straight outings without allowing an earned run. And then she came in and gave up that 2-run home run to Stetson, but her team picked her right back up, answered with a 2-run home run of their own to win that game yesterday. But she'll get the walk here to begin the second.
And to foul it off and just work the count back until you get another hard pitch to swing at.
That one inside. She chases for the strikeout.
That is a great pitch by Grace Jones. That changeup has been working well, but this is the first time she's really gone up in the zone. So now she's working with 3 different quadrants, that drop ball, that rise, as well as that changeup to change the timing of these NC State hitters.
2 strikeouts so far for Jones. Again, Ellington Whitaker, little unsure. The senior catcher out of Texas. The 1-1, here's Grace Jones delivering. Ball 2.
And going back to that last at bat, Grace Jones going to her rise ball. If you're in the NC State dugout, now you have to have that mindset that she's going up hard, but her best pitch is her drop. So it puts you in a tough position of which plane to kind of sit on.
That one she waits on and drops it in behind second base for the base hit. So a good piece of hitting there for Sarah Johnson.
Sarah Johnson, like I said, has been keeping her hands back through every take, but this time it works to her advantage on the changeup that Grace Jones has been spotting so well. Avery Barton, the shortstop, might have had a chance at a diving play on that ball, but she was running with her glove out the entire time up the middle, and If you run with your glove out, it makes you slower. So you want to tuck that glove in at the last second. If you got to dive, you reach out. But now Mercer in a tough position with Johnson on first base and Maya Townsend with some speed up to the plate. She can do a lot of things by putting the ball in play.
Yeah, she beat out one in the first to begin things, a single, then she stole a base as well. So she is dangerous at the top of this order. The transfer from LSU, who's been exactly what they wanted at the top of this lineup. I think the kind of player that Coach Leftwich has been looking for to lead off her batting order.
And she is the spark. So definitely what you want at the top of your lineup, someone who can get something started at any point.
Sarah Johnson takes off running and steals second base as well. So you see her speed to move into scoring position.
Great softball IQ with the drop ball pitcher to see the ball down and just to take off for Johnson there. She beat the throw by a while, but that's because her read from the start was very good.
Chase, can she get there? She does. What a catch by Maya Townsend.
Maya Townsend catching it like she was floating in the air, absolutely left her feet. Wingore gets the jam job, but wow, Maya Townsend runs a long way away. That's a Sports Center top 10. You can almost frame that when she's completely in the air for the diving catch.
Full extension. Sarah Johnson out and right had a great reaction as well to that catch. What a play by Townsend. We talk about what she could do at the top of the order, but she's great defensively as well, and she shows it there.
And if you're Wingore, after watching that play, you have no choice but to trust your defense on every single pitch. This infield has been phenomenal, but now the outfield of NC State's trying to compete with them just a little bit. Maya Townsend leading the way.
Yeah, we'll see if Sarah Johnson can get in the mix here. We'll go all the way around the outfield potentially here in the fourth inning. But, yeah, the defense behind this pitching staff has been very good. I think that's one thing they're excited about, and it takes a little pressure off the pitchers, doesn't it?
It does, and Coach Leftwich said that that's what she wanted out of her pitchers, was to be more confident and trust the defense. Those first couple weeks, they played a lot of tough competition and kind of got banged up. But now they have a better chance.
Off the hands, tough play for Livingston, but she gets it. That was a very tough play to charge.
They're going into the fifth inning. One swing of this bat can put them in run rule territory and also potentially save the arm of Wingore on the other side of the ball.
How much are you thinking about that as a player when you get in this position? It's 5-0 here in the fourth. Again, as you mentioned, 3 more runs. Get you an opportunity to close it out.
You have it in the back of your mind because you're trying to be as good of a teammate as possible and help your pitcher's arms, but it can't be at the forefront of your mind.
That one skied just into the outfield grass. A couple of steps. It's Avery Barton to make the play, but NC State, despite this pop out with 2 on, go back-to-back to take the 5-0 lead after 4.
Bottom half of the inning, 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. After 4 complete, your score, the Mercer Bears, no score on your NC State Wolfpack Fly.
Job by NC State defense calling that timeout, talking to Feckle there in the circle, and sometimes all a pitcher needs is either a joke told to them or just an extra breather to break up the pace.
So back-to-back walks, 2 out walks for Mercer, and that'll flip the lineup back to the top.
The left fielder, number 21.
If you're Mercer, you got to be proud of your bottom part of the lineup being able to turn it back over to the top half. And if you're the top half, you have to learn from the bottom half and understand that the pitcher's struggling to find the strike zone and throw strikes. So you need to be patient and get a pitch over the heart of the white so you can compete in this game, maybe scratch a run or 2 across and drive a ball into the gap.
Yeah, Mercer down just 5 runs. Opportunity here with 2 outs. But only one hit so far in this game. Just had 2 hits against NC State last night, so it's been tough to scratch him out. Whalen's grounded out twice to Carly Short. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Crowd behind her here in Dell Stadium.
You can definitely feel the energy rising throughout this inning.
Yeah, great crowd here to close out the event. It's been a good weekend, perfect weather all weekend. Georgia Tech 1-0 earlier today as well. A no-hitter thrown by Clemson, and that 1-0 victory. Just 2 hits total in that game. Right side fielded and over to first for the second out.
And Kayla Feckle's just really settling in on the mound. Just getting Grace Jones out in front of it. And then NC State, this defense, I know that play wasn't the toughest that you've seen, but they've just really had their pitchers' backs.
All right, so that'll do it for Feckle, but a nice outing for her. She'll get some high fives from her teammate as she heads to the dugout. We'll tell you about the third pitcher of the day for NC State coming up.
New pitcher for your NC State Wolfpack. Now pitching for your NC State Wolfpack. Number 80, Charlie Orsini. Number 80, Orsini now pitching for your Wolfpack.
Weekend of preseason play before NC State turns their attention to Pitt coming in next weekend.
And if you're Coach Lindsay Leftwich, this is exactly what you wanted to see your team do to finish out your preseason. You had a couple hard and tough first 2 weekends, but then you got everything together, working on all cylinders going into ACC play.
A perfect 4-0 weekend as our final score here, NC State 5, Mercer 1 for Riley West and our entire crew. I'm Ben George saying so long. Thanks for being here with us in Raleigh.